In 2007, we could have lost the legendary Eminem.
Had I have got to the hospital about 2 hours later, I would have died.
In this video, we will tell you about the lowest part of Eminem's life. To begin with, I want to remember his phrase, "Kids, don't smoke, don't drink, don't rape, leave that to me." And who knew that it really could turn out to be Marshall's fateful slogan? I suggest we go back to his childhood because this is the most important period in both Eminem's and each of our lives. His father left when he was 6 months old, and Eminem stayed with his mother, and according to M, she in turn took drugs, which he talked about in his songs.
Put yourself in my position. Just try to envision witnessing your mama popping prescription pills in the kitchen.
Debbie Mathers, Marshall's mom, was just 17 when he was born. She admits the family went through some tough times. By the time Marshall was 2, she fled an abusive marriage and started a tough life as a single mother. We'd get into homes, fix it up, and they'd sell it out from under us, so it was kind of tough, she said. I went from paycheck to paycheck. In an interview, Debbie said that everything he says about her in his songs is not true. There was no drugs or alcohol involved in her life.
Neglectful.
No.
Pill popping.
No.
Welfare collecting.
No.
And according to her, she was a 9 out of 10 mother.
You know, you've got to stop this. I mean, your anger and your hostilities towards me, what have I really actually done to you?
And as they say, the world is a cruel but ironic place.
Just found out my mom does more than I do. Make a record about doing to name it after.
Like I'm floating in a cloud, but sometimes I get quiet, then I get loud, then I go up, then I go down.
Big Naz, Eminem's former security guard, told in an interview how it all started.
You don't know this. M didn't do a lot of drugs in the beginning. Matter of fact, Kim used to call me, "Hey Naz, can you make sure that Marshall doesn't do any drugs?" And that was part of my job, man, to protect him and to protect him from drug use. So
he is angry at himself because he did not keep track of the young hip-hop talent. When M worked hard, he got tired, which is typical of any person. The assistant manager advised him not to rest, but to use some pills to keep him going instead, although Eminem did not really need it. He led a healthy lifestyle and ate healthy food. Everything changed in the city of Baltimore when he realized that M had become a drug addict. He and his buddy got hold of some drugs, and then Big Naz asked Eminem not to do it. But the guys decided not to listen to him and shut the door right in front of him. He went on to tell a story that happened in Boston in '99 before a concert. M liked doing a little dope before going on stage, but that time he overdid it.
the drugs kicked in. You seen it. Everything just went in slow motion.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, son. I said, fuck it. Back up in my head. Then I sold his shot.
He could get drugs in any city and took dope every day, all day, morning, noon, and night. Many were afraid that he might overdose. Eminem was distancing himself from his inner circle. He didn't listen to their words about him having a problem with this poison. He came home and immediately got high.
Like they took the dude took everything out of the house. You know?
TVs?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
He liked the feeling and increased the doses each time because they made him feel better, and when he was sober, he felt terrible.
So I'm on the floor, I'm falling, I'm still falling, you know what I'm saying? But
in addition to drugs, he also liked to indulge in alcohol. That's what he said in the Way I Am book. When I was drinking, I could be in a good mood. I loved everyone and everything was wonderful. Then someone would tell me something I didn't like, not knowing that my guards wouldn't be able to do anything to stop me from reacting, and at the very least hitting you in the face, spitting at you, or getting a few kicks in before they got to me. I could be pissed off by any bullshit. For example, if someone stared at me for too long, and I couldn't stop until I thought I had done something that would make this person responsible, make him remember this lesson. Later, I was full of apologies, constantly saying sorry. I felt like an idiot for this behavior, wondering, why can't I control this?
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Damn, you need help, dog.
Ow!
Come on, B. Come on, B. Come on. Yo, cut the cameras, man.
Things got worse in 2002 when he took pills while filming the movie 8 Mile, but the lowest point came in 2004 after the album Encore. Eminem has compared his prescription drug problem to Michael Jackson's, admitting that he popped between 60 to 90 pills a day during the height of his addiction. It's very similar to what I've read about Michael, he said. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I read that he kept getting up in the middle of the night asking for more drugs. That's what I was doing. Eminem started becoming dependent and built up a tolerance against his prescription drugs. He said by the time he was on his anger management tour in 2005, he was fucked up every night.
Take this because I just take these pills because I can't sleep. I have a sleeping problem.
I was taking so many pills that I wasn't even taking them to get high anymore, Eminem says. I was taking them to get normal. I want to say in a day I could consume anywhere from 40 to 60 Valium, and Vicodin, maybe 20, 30. My everyday regimen would be wake up in the morning and take an extra strength Vicodin, and it'd be Vicodin throughout the day. Then as the evening crept up, I'd start with Valium or 2, or 3, or 4, and every hour on the hour I'd pop 4 or 5 more. Later in 2005, he tried to recover several times and even went to rehab, but the death of a close friend in 2006, whose name was Proof, gave M depression and he began to use again. As Marshall himself says, it was a great reason to get high again. Sometimes he just laid in bed and cried. Eminem's creativity also suffered. From 2004 to 2008, he could not write anything, and if he did, then it was complete nonsense. The situation with Rihanna was like this. At that time, she was dating Chris Brown, and according to her, Chris would regularly beat her. An excerpt of the demo version of Eminem's track Things Get Worse appeared on the internet. In a small part of the recording, which in the end was not included in the full track, Eminem said that he would support his fellow musician Chris Brown. Later, he would apologize for this.
Let me get my 2 cents. Of course I side with Chris Brown. I'd beat a bitch down too if she gave my dick an itch now.
His physical health also suffered quite a bit. Marshall gained a lot of weight and during the peak of that period weighed 230 pounds at 5'8". You can take a look at the rapper's form in a fragment of the Jimmy Kimmel Show from 2006, where the host offers Eminem to play basketball one-on-one. It is very hard to recognize the king of hip-hop in this chubby, out-of-breath guy, and even Kimmel looks like LeBron next to him. Later, one of the doctors he knew prescribed the rapper other pills, 1 pill and a great mood for the entire day. After the children went to bed, he drank one, but of course that was not enough for M, and he took another one, but it also wasn't enough. Half an hour later, he felt sick and managed to get to the bathroom, where he dialed an ambulance while lying on the floor. The doctors who arrived diagnosed him with an overdose of methadone, one of the most powerful drugs in the world. It is used to normalize drug addicts who use heroin, those who can no longer be cured of their heroin addiction.
Had I have got to the hospital about 2 hours later, I would have died.
He was lucky to survive, but his organs began to fail and doctors thought that he would not recover. A week after he was checked out of the hospital, he started taking drugs again because he couldn't sleep. A month after the overdose, he was predicted to have a relapse and a subsequent death. In that terrible month, he woke up every morning thinking that his time was running out.
We're just walking around my house and thinking every single day like, I'm gonna fucking die.
The only thing that kept him from going into oblivion was his decision to be a responsible father to his biological daughter Haley Jade Scott and his 2 adopted daughters. In the beginning of 2008, he hospitalized himself, went through rehab, and started the full 12-step program of a recovering addict, complete with meetings, a sponsor, and a therapist.
It's like, I know how he can sound, like when he puts that, you know, I call it the
I literally have no recollection of actually doing the show. I remember going home and watching it, but I just don't remember being here.
Marshall got hooked on running. Every day he ran for 8 to 9 miles before and after work in the studio and burned at least 2,000 calories per day. In a year, Eminem went down to 150 pounds, but because of overload, he injured his hip flexors. I have the brains of a drug addict, and when it came to running, I overdid it a little, the rapper recalled.
Love Valium and lots of drugs. That's why I am like.
Initially, Eminem did not want to be like his parents, and if he became a great father, then the habit from his mother was passed on to him through genes, with which he battled and won. For many, 420 is celebrated in a different way, but for Eminem it's a slightly different holiday, Sobriety Day. He attributes his successful rehabilitation to him being honest with himself, and this is the most important thing when you want to change your life. I recommend you check out the following video about Eminem's disses. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you soon!